folks, and welcome to a very special edition of Kim's Asian Corner here at the DEADPIT Network. I am Kim, and this is Lady Vengeance. Lady Vengeance. Well, this isn't going to be my typical review show. I've already got a written review up about it over at the DEADPIT Movie Review Database. But I discovered this movie a year ago and declared it to be my favorite movie of all time. I know that's a bold statement, but it's been over a year and nothing's topped it for me. So anyway, this is mostly a tribute to my favorite movie. And I'm going to sort of review it, talk about what I loved about it so much. And anyway, let's get started. Lady Vengeance was released theatrically in 2005, and it was directed by Park Chan-wook, and it was part of his Revenge trilogy, which started with Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Old Boy. This was originally called Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. As the film begins, a group of women are being released from a women's prison, and one of them happens to have a committee of a bunch of Santa Clauses, or a bunch of people dressed like Santa Claus, waiting for her to come out. And they see her come out and they break into song, a hymn. And they're being led by this preacher. I'm not sure, he's evangelical or something like that. Anyway, she walks right up to him, and he tries to hand her a thing of tofu to eat. It's a tradition, I guess, when somebody gets released from prison, they're supposed to be brought a square of tofu, white tofu, by a loved one or friend or whatever, and when they eat it on the day they're released, that's their vow to live white and never sin again. Well, the one woman with the Santa Claus committee, this is, of course, Lee Goom-ja, played by the beautiful and multi-talented Lee Young-ai. And I know I'm saying these names wrong, whatever. She is greeted by this preacher who hands her the tofu. She proceeds to knock the tofu to the ground and tells him to go screw himself. As the movie goes on, we learn through a series of flashbacks why she went to prison in the first place. And it seems she had confessed, in fact insisted, that she had committed a terrible crime of kidnapping and then murdering a small boy, 6-year-old boy. And anyway, she does her time. She gets released from prison. She gets out and she looks up old friends, old cellmates, and she finds a job. Turns out she's got mad skills as a pastry chef. So anyway, she gets this job in a bakery and gets herself laid. To these people that she looks up, they all remark that she's changed so much. And they each kind of add their own little flashbacks, their own memories of how they met Goom-ja. And in all of these flashbacks, she's like really sweet and really kind. And this doesn't resemble the woman, you know, that just got released. She's kind of real quiet. You know, she doesn't say a whole lot. She doesn't smile. She's got the blood red eyeshadow on, you know. And anyway, everybody's kind of weirded out. They're not really happy that she's changed. And but it isn't prison that hardened Lee Goom-ja. No. It was the fact that for 13 years, that's how much time she did, she sat and she patiently plotted an elaborate revenge scheme against the real murderer of that 6-year-old boy. Through more flashbacks, we learn that when Goom-ja was 18, 19, she had gotten pregnant, and she must have had a really bad family life. She didn't want to live at home. So she contacts this teacher that she knew. Well, he was a student teacher in her high school, and asks if she can go live with him. So he takes her in, I guess, for a price, because he answers the door naked. And anyway, while she's with him, here comes the good kidnappings, bad kidnappings. He had talked her into kidnapping this boy with him and to helping him. And he had convinced her that, you know, it would be all right. The family's rich. They could afford the ransom. You know, they might have to worry about him for a little while, but when they get him back safe, the family bond will be closer. Well, you know, she was young, silly, she fell for it. And sure enough, you know, almost as soon as they get the boy, he kills him. And, you know, he kidnaps her baby daughter and had called her and told her that if she didn't take the blame, if she didn't confess and take the entire blame for the murder, that he would kill her daughter as well. So in order to, you know, save her baby's life, she had to give her up and go to prison for 13 years. So she was a little pissed, to say the least. But while she was in prison, she had made friends with, it looked like just about everybody that she met. She went around doing acts of kindness, sometimes taking it to the extreme as far as, but, you know, she did what she set out to do. She got these people to trust her and love her, and to the point where they would do anything for her. And as a matter of fact, some of them owed her some pretty big favors, which she does collect on when it comes time to finding Mr. Beck, her teacher, and enacting her terrible revenge. And this sucker learns payback is a bitch in blood red eyeshadow. Now that's the basic story, but there's just so much more to it, you know. I mean, along the way, you know, she flies to Australia to find her daughter. That's an Australian couple had adopted her, and the daughter, she's about, I guess, 13, 14. She insists on being brought back with her to Korea for a while, and so she does. And anyway, you know, like the revenge thing, it's not quite what you would expect. Well, for one thing, Goomja finds out that Mr. Beck was a lot worse than she had even thought. It's pretty bad. So, you know, she realizes that she is not the only one who needs to take revenge against this guy. So what she does next is really, really awesome, to say the least. There's just so much that I love about this movie. Well, let's just start with the look of Lady Vengeance herself. Towards the last half of the movie, her look is very iconic. You know, it's like she's got the black leather coat and the black leather boots and the blood red eyeshadow, and of course her handcrafted, ancient design, double-barreled pistol, which she had made for her by one of her friends from prison. Then there's the look of the movie itself, which is just stunning. I mean, the direction is flawless, I think. I mean, there's, you know, you get sweeping camera shots, you've got cool little segues from one scene to the next. The structure of the storyline was really fascinating, but kind of confusing too if it's your first time watching it. I know I was a little confused. Well, for one thing, the story is told by like a series of narrators. There's a main narrator who begins it and ends it, and you know, we don't find out who that is till the end. And I mean, it's no big twist, nor does it try to be. Not a big surprise. Then there's a bunch of other people that narrate like their version of the story of Goomja or their part in the story. So it almost sort of presents the story of Goomja as like a legend. And I thought that was neat. None of the flashbacks are from Goomja herself. It's all other people. So, pretty cool. The music. Oh God, the music in this movie is beautiful. I mean, you got a sort of classical sounding background music to most of the scenes. Some of it's kind of Baroque, you know, a lot of it's upbeat, kind of an upbeat kind of feel to it. Some of the music is like stirringly beautiful. The whole movie, it's operatic, you know. I mean, I don't mean that there's opera music used, but, you know, some of the scenes are just like, you know, there's the scene where her daughter, you can hear her daughter singing a song, okay, set to a tune that kind of recurs through the movie, and you don't see her sing it, you know, and she speaks English, the daughter, by the way. You know, she was adopted by that Australian couple, and what's funny though is she does speak with a Korean accent, which I thought was pretty funny. You know, it's one of those things that's totally forgivable because it's cool. But she's singing this song, and you don't see her sing it. You see her in the scenes, you know, but there's like all this snow and just beautiful. Just the whole thing was beautiful. The movie, there's just something so elegant about it, and a lot of surreal scenes too. Like there's some flashbacks that are surreal. The movie's got like these dead serious themes like sin and redemption and you know, really sad and serious things going on. But it's just full of all this dark humor, which was really awesome. I mean, you can sit and laugh at this movie as much as cringe at it or get into it or whatever. Amazing camera work. I mean, you got a picture in a frame that moves. You've got some split screen work. You've got clouds that form words. Great stuff. The performances in this movie were off the chain. Okay, I mean, you know, you got Lee Young-ai as Lady Vengeance herself. I mean, this was a very layered character because the role required that she be, you know, sweet in some scenes, aloof and cold in others, motherly, psychotic, and boy, she could do it all at the drop of a hat. She was awesome. And of course, Min-sik, who, you know, was Choi Min-sik, who was in Old Boy. You know, he really rocked the house on this one too. I was hating his guts. So he did a great job. But everybody, I mean everybody who showed their face in this movie gave an amazing performance, and you know, that's no exaggeration. I mean, there are just tons of memorable characters who I love. As much as I madly love this movie, ironically, there are scenes in this movie that are really hard for me to watch, and they'll probably be hard for a lot of people to watch. Okay, one, of course, involves a prison scene. Let's just say bull-dyke action. Who? Well, you know, our girl Goom Ja wasn't involved in it. She wasn't quite this bitch's body type. The other scenes that are hard to watch are a lot more serious. They involve videotapes of these children that had fallen victim to Mr. Beck, and you know, the last moments of their lives, basically. And you know, I gotta warn you, it's really disturbing. You know, it makes me cry just about every time, unless I fast forward through them, which I've done that before too. I'm gonna say I'm a mom. But you know, I mean, as hard as the hard scenes are to watch, they're all part of what makes the movie what it is. So, you know, you gotta take the good, the bad, and the ugly all together. But I love this movie as a whole. Have you got that by now? I love this movie. So there it is, folks. Lady Vengeance. If you haven't seen it yet, what the hell's wrong with you? No, seriously, you should definitely check it out. You may not love it as much as I did. Few people do, maybe. I don't know. But everybody should. So anyway, that's it for Lady Vengeance. And that's it for me. So, bye-bye. Lady Vengeance.